Yeah. Vinny in the ring, gloves on, ready to swing. CPS try to clip his wings, but he gon' sing. Dirt in the past, but he ain't looking back. Eyes on the prize, reclaim life off the track.
Laws entangled, he untwists each knot. Systems rigged, but he found the weak spot. Truth is a weapon, he stayed locked and loaded. Freedom on the horizon, fight never corroded. I'm beating CPS down, taking my life back. Vinny on a mission, got no time for slack. Learning every step, uncovering the cracks. Victory in sight, there's no turning back. There's no turning back.
In court he spit truth, fire in the eyes, judge caught in the flames, see through the lies, documented facts, no room to despise, push ahead his heart's where freedom lies. Community rally, hear the war cry loud, Vinny lead the charge, make his fam proud, battles are fought in the mind with no sound, peace is the throne, he's the king unbound. For every tear shed, there's strength gained, Vinny rise stronger, now unchained, each setback's fuel, destiny preordained, freedom for his kids, life reframed.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're with me, Vinny, for Vinny's Discussion. Freedom fighter, that's right, against CPS. I am fighting for all of us, and I need to change my name because I am not Darren, and I'm not the Punisher. I just happened to notice that. So let me get my actual name up here. There we go. So I want to discuss with you guys today a little bit about what we got going on for the 14th. We are going to be doing a video letter kind of deal to Donald Trump our president, to have our voices heard about what's going on in the CPS world. We have expressed this on numerous channels about the show and what we're going to be doing. We do have a meeting beforehand this coming week, before we even do the show. So if you guys have anything that you want said to Mr. Trump, let us know. Either send us a message, send us an email at cpsvhuntingjustice@gmail.com, so we can get this in to this formulation of what we're putting out to Mr. Trump. You guys need some closure. You guys need to get your kids back. And there's only one way we're going to really fight this, and that is by going to our president of the United States and, the Republican Party, because the Republican Party seems to be listening to we the people. I found this to be very sincere within Maine. I am seeing a lot of movement within our Republican Party going against the Mills governor and going against the Democratic Party on many things, on many platforms as well. They're speaking out against certain things with corruption. They're speaking out against them going against Donald Trump, and they're backing Donald Trump, which means that, we do have some Republican Party members here in Maine that are willing to speak up and shine light on what's really going on. And that's a big thing because Maine is filled with corruption. We speak about it on our main show all the time. But what people don't realize is Maine is the source of all the corruption within the East Coast. It stems from us, and it trickles down through all these other states. Maine is the leading state in corruption. We are the highest in the nation for corruption at that. And this goes from our governor's office down through the Senate, down through the judges, down through the guardian ad litems, down through the AAGs, the assistant attorney generals. Matter of fact, the new attorney general here in Maine, Mr. Fry, is going up against Trump's order policy on gender affirming. Well, I have a feeling that that guy is going to find that him going up against Mr. Trump is a bad idea, because they're locking people up for that. So I have a feeling that these Democrats and these governors and these AGs that think that they're going to go up against a president are going to find that that president ain't going to be so lenient when it comes to federal crime and treason. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and seeing how he reacts to what these public officials are actually putting out to the news stations, because we just learned here in Maine that News Channel 13 is in fact in cahoots with the Governor Mills. The Maine Wire put it out yesterday that they are in fact in ties with them. And this is factual information, guys. You can look it up on the Maine Wire. They state it right there that they are in fact embroidered in with the governor. So the Maine Wire is trying to get truth shed to light. And that's good because it's a different kind of media outlet. We also have a talk show out of Maine that even our very own Thomas Paine was on. I got to hear his interview with the talk show, and it was really, really amazing. He put his story full force out there with the talk show, did not hold bar. So any Mainers that are listening and wanting to know, you can look it up. There's a talk show. It's right on, I think, 104 or 109. But they have it every weekend. It's hosted, so it might be something to look into to maybe get your stories heard even more, because they broadcast all across the states. I'm thinking it covers most of New England. So that's another idea for you guys, as well as our channels. We do have a lot of channels out there. With that said, you guys need to be looking at your legislative bodies. You need to know who is representing you properly, who is not representing you properly, who is frauding the state, who is not frauding the state, who is fighting for your rights. There's quite a few here in Maine. Needless to say, there's about 5 or 6 that are actually fighting against the corruption, and they call it out too. They're not afraid to say it's corrupt. So keep that in mind, you guys, when you're looking at your legislative bodies. The ones that are actually fighting for your rights are the ones you need to be talking to. They are the key to getting things kind of movement. And all these people that are going against Trump and doing these rallies are all Democratic Party. They're not Republicans. They're Democratic parties. They're the ones that wanted the immigrants to come in. They wanted all the deaths. They wanted this. They wanted that. Um, these are not people that we should be backing whatsoever. For them to be wanting immigrants to be able to come in and take over our medical assistance, our food stamps assistance, and just living off of the government and taken away from we the people and the citizens that live in each state is wrong. There's been nothing but murder, crimes, all the way through drug trafficking into the U.S. And it goes on and on and on. And that's what Trump is trying to stop from happening. He's trying to take these cartels out of the states. He's trying to take these people out of the states for using the system, because that's what they're doing. They're using the system with the help of the Democratic Party. Um, so I want you guys to all think about that. I see Herbert post a bunch of stuff in the chat this morning. I haven't had a chance to look over most of it, but I will, Herbert. Will be looking it over when I have a second or so. My morning kind of started with a jolt to wake up because I knew that Brenda had her show this morning. So I just wanted you guys to know that I did wake up late, and I'm sorry, Brenda, if you're watching. I didn't mean to make you late this morning. I was late myself. Didn't kind of comfortable in my bed. It's a snow day here. All the schools are closed. My wife didn't have visits today, so she has a video visit with my daughter later on today. They canceled visits, and that was best because I am not putting my daughter's life at jeopardy, and neither is my wife if something were to happen on her way to visits. And the same with my wife. She wasn't putting her life on the line to travel almost 2 hours to see our daughter in the snow. So, and that's what these people do, is they make you travel a tremendous amount of miles to see your kids. They're not thinking, the wear and tear on the car, the mileage on the car. Yeah, she gets paid for gas reimbursement, but that's it. She's not getting paid for the amount of oil changes we have to have done on our car, or how much friggin' mileage we have put on our car in less than a year. It is tremendous. We bought our car with 40,000 miles on it, and now we're over 1,000 miles. 100,000, she said. That it's bullshit, and they're not paying for any of the stuff that we have done to our car. They're not paying for our time and what we have to do to see our kids. They don't give a shit, people. They don't. They don't care if you got to travel. They don't care if the weather's shit. They do not. The only ones that seem to care are the people that actually are the supervisors of the visits, which are pretty much paid out to supervise the visit. They're not actual CPS workers. At least in Maine, they're not. They do it through what is called care and comfort.
Community care.
Community care.
Care and comfort.
But the elderly ones, care and comfort. But community care is the people that do her visitations. And they have never reported anything bad about my wife whatsoever. And that's a good thing, and that's something that the judges in the court should be looking at. But you know damn well they're not gonna. They're just gonna overlook it and say, "Oh well, you can't keep your kids safe because of your husband." Blah blah blah. Let me tell you something, people. What you may read and see on the internet about me is pretty much very well false. Yes, I have an attitude problem. Yes, I am blunt. CPS doesn't like that I am blunt and I tell them where to go and how to get there really quick. I'll tell them to go fuck themselves and not care. And that's what they don't like. They don't like a parent that's willing to put their constitutional rights in their face. They do not like that one bit. And I have this entire time. Every email that they sent me, I would reply back with a constitutional right within my email. And I have screenshots of it. The same with, serving them under color of law. These people are violated this document of under color of law numerous times. I could have sued them already by now, but you know what? I'm waiting. I'm biding my time because that under color of law has no date on it. It doesn't expire. So let them break the under color of law because every time they break it, that's more on their fucking head, not mine, theirs. Every time they've tried to serve me, violation under color of law. They're breaking the color of law violation, which is 1983, 241, and 242. So, I want you guys to start realizing you have rights. Chris, I don't know if I made your mom mad or not. Hi, Debbie. I wasn't trying to, but I was specifically stating last week that you guys need to stop relying on TFI. You do. TFI is not going to do anything for you guys. They're not going to help you. All they care about is taking your son and running because they're getting that money. You guys need to stop talking to them. Matter of fact, you need to serve them under color of law and serve them a cease and desist order on top of that under color of law. Because then if they violate that order, you can sue them. You need to stop working with TFI. They're not helping you. They're not getting you anywhere, as you notice. They're not listening to you because they don't care to listen. They want to do what they want to do. And they're going to do it because they think that their shit don't stink and they hold mighty power. Well, I can tell you guys that I heard from Richard a couple days ago, matter of fact. And he told me he was in another case where CPS thought that they were still covered under the Chevron doctrine. Okay, so these people are still believing that they are covered by Chevron doctrine. That's where they're pulling their policy and procedures from, the Chevron doctrine. That shit was done and over with a long time ago.
Yeah.
Supreme Court ruled it is gone. And for them to be operating under Chevron doctrine is a violation of constitutional rights now. So keep that in the back of your mind. If they say Chevron, you can hold them for that because Chevron was overturned. And these attorneys know it was. These lawyers know they are. The judges know it was. But CPS seems to think that they still have the authority of Chevron. I kind of find that suspicious. I don't know about the rest of you, but I find that a bit suspicious that they're still operating under the assumption that Chevron is covering their asses. I want Trump to focus on the corruption of child protective services before focusing on making Canada another state or dealing with DEI. Children are taken away daily. Oh yeah, they definitely are, Herbert. And it's getting worse and worse because they think they still have operational power, and these people really don't have the power. If you talk to Tiffany, she'll tell you you have constitutional rights against them. You can sue them at any means necessary because they do violate your constitutional rights as a parent. I actually heard her talking about something earlier, and I'm hoping that I can get that information. I don't know if Darren has it or not, but she was talking about parental rights. I want to know where it states that in the Constitution, and I'm hoping that Tiffany can point that out to me. Because if that's our key, I think that's our key right there to getting these governments held accountable. Because she said something about it blocks them government from interfering in our constitutional parental rights. So I don't know if Darren has got that information from her yet, but I'd like to see it just to look it over myself and go, well, it is in the Constitution. And with that being said, this is a direct violation. They're directly violating a constitutional right and getting away with it. That's where we need to attack. Because even in the Ninth Amendment, it states there are other amendments that were never put into place when it comes to parental rights. So, you guys can look it up for yourself and do the investigation for yourself, but the Ninth Amendment doesn't cover everything, and the amendments are not covered by everything. There is other amendments that they never put into place, and this needs to be looked into, because if there's amendments out there that we don't know about as the people, we need to know, and we should know. We are the people of the United States. We are the citizens. We have a right to know. We rule them, they don't rule us. And I think Trump is trying to get that point across, that U.S. citizens have more rights than these people are letting on, which is why he's been fighting the system and taking the DEI down, using Elon Musk as an advocate for that. He's got his attorney general in office. I think we're going to see some very big things start to hit the fan, and we're going to start seeing more and more of parents and everyone speaking out on a public display. It is coming. I think that it is time that somehow we get our voices heard at these CPS places, at the state courts, at the federal courts, at the Supreme Courts. It is time that we voice our opinions to these assholes and get our voices heard. Why should we hide on the internet or hide on our TikToks or Facebook? It is time to really start rallying against these people and take these motherfuckers down. They really need to be sitting in a place, a federal jail, on the middle of a fucking island that no one can get to, surrounded by sharks. That's where they belong. They have violated constitutional rights. They have violated our children. They have abused our children. They have murdered our children. They have used our children for experiments. When is enough enough? When are the parents going to finally speak up and say, enough is a fucking enough? No more will our kids live in fear of this fucking government. They shouldn't. These are our legacy, people. It's time that we take the fight to them. It is time that Trump hears our fucking cry. It is time that these CPS workers be held accountable for every fucking thing that they have done to us. No more should we live in fear. No more should we have to worry about looking over our shoulder and wondering if a fucking officer is going to be showing up at our house, or they're going to show up at our work and beat the shit out of us for nothing, like they did to me. They had no reason to arrest me. None. I highly believe that this detective, Victoria Lane, who is a Maine State Police, has got a hard on for me because she was involved with CPS from the beginning. She was at a family team meeting where cops are not supposed to be, and it stated that in the email that I got, no cops will be here. This is a closed family team meeting. But yet this officer was at this family team meeting and put on recording. You're a fucking liar, CPS. And I got you on that part. This judge may not want to hear it, but he's gonna fucking hear me. One way or another. He holds me in contempt, well, so be it. The motherfucker's gonna hear me. I'm gonna be roaring come the 12th and 13th of March. That's when I go back to court for the TPR hearing. So I'll be preparing my witness list. I'll be preparing what I have to say. Even though Richard wants me to plead the fifth on everything, I ain't pleading the fifth on everything. I beg to fucking differ. My voice will be heard. And these motherfuckers are going to be put in their place. And when that fucking guardian ad litem gets up on that stand, I'm going to have that bitch demolished. I'm going to expose her lies, expose her fraud. I'm going to make sure that that bitch don't have a job in the state of Maine ever again. Mark my words. I'm not going just for blood. I'm going for justice. For my kids dealing with the shit that they've dealt with. Them alienating my oldest away from me and her mother. Them putting her on psychotropic drugs to confuse her. Medical neglect, not getting her glasses when she needed them because she has astigmatism in her eye and it flutters all the time. Not giving her appointment for her psych eval that was supposed to be done over a year ago. These are things that they have put off on her. And then allowing the first foster care placement to abuse my child and say, oh, well, she fell down the stairs or she was bitten by another kid. Why is another kid biting my daughter? Why is my kid supposedly falling down the stairs when she climbs stairs all the time? Why is my kid showing up with bruises and everything else all over her body? And why is a male caseworker looking at a 4-year-old naked? Let me see what Mr. Herbert's got to say down here. Trump released the J6 immediately. He could have released our kids back to us just as fast. Oh, yeah, I agree, Herbert. I fully agree. ICE police is picking up and deporting migrants on day-to-day beginning in office. Yep, they are. But you notice that they're not going after these caseworkers yet. Yes, they put a halt to their funding because they're investigating it. But they should be putting a halt to CPS until they are fully investigated. They should not be able to operate at all. They should shut them down until a full-scale investigation is done into this department. And that's what I highly believe. Because if they do a full-scale nationwide investigation into the Department of Health and Human Services, they're going to see things that they don't think they would ever happen, but they have. Child molestation by caseworkers, pedo caseworkers working in their offices, guardian ad litems frauding documentation, judges lying under oath because they don't take an actual oath. These are fucking administrative courts. They're not an actual court. These are administration. They're actors put in a robe. Most of them are wearing a fucking suit underneath. And I guarantee you that almost every single one of these actors are represented in some kind of case without you even knowing. Guaranteed. Because I've seen a couple of them here in Maine that seem to be a judge and then they're representing a client. but they're not representing their client the way they're supposed to be because they're a judge. Kind of awkward. But, you guys really need to be looking at everything. Request your records completely. Mine should be here, and then I'm going to guess by Tuesday, I'll have my full criminal record. Because I asked for that. They tried to play dumb the other day with me on the phone when I called to ask if they received it. Oh, well, we don't see it here. Blah, blah, blah. Let me go ask my supervisor. They come back again. Well, the supervisor said that there was no notice shown. And I stated right to that clerk, I said, that's funny. You're saying that it wasn't seen, but the judge seen my motion for dismiss and my other motion that I filed, but you didn't get my request for my records? So he's like, hang on. He went into the courtroom and asked the clerk that was sitting on the bench that day with the judge, and they confirmed that it was there. So then they had to go back and dig for it. Don't play stupid with me. You clerks know what's going on. You're lying pieces of shit, and you should be held to that fine of $2,000 if you ain't gonna do what we the people want. We have a right to our records. We have a right to see them, and for you to withhold them is against the law. These clerk of courts need to go in the administrative court because they're shit. They ain't clerks of court. They're consuming the corruption along with these judges, along with these guardian ad litems, along with CPS, and along with these Supreme Courts. Because up here in Maine, you don't want your case in the Supreme Court. They're just as corrupt. And I have found that out. You want a case to be heard, Superior Court or federal court. Don't go to Supreme Court in the state of Maine. They ain't really going to listen to your shit. They don't care. They're all corrupt in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court and Administration Court. Don't want to be there. You want to take it above them. Yep, he did. And you know what? He has been trying to work with North Carolina people to get them the help that they need. I got to give major props to the Amish people for stepping up and helping the North Carolina people that went through the flood. They have done an amazing job out there, Herbert. I was just seeing reports about it a couple days ago, and yes, there are still families without. It's cold there, it's snowing, but these people are still going out every single day to try to help them, and that's immense. That shows what kind of people we have within the United States that are willing to help others in need, and that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to everyone helping each other, back to when we were all kids and we didn't have to worry about CPS. We didn't have to worry about the cops so much. The only time we had to worry about cops if there was gangs going around shooting people. Or, we didn't really have to worry about staying out late at night because we knew that light came on, we were due in home. We didn't have the rules that we have today. We didn't. We knew we could go to our friend's house, or we could go off in the woods and play, or we could, drink from a goddamn hose for that matter, if we were thirsty. There was hoses everywhere. They even used to turn the goddamn fire hydrants on and let you play in them back then. They didn't give a shit. Now they don't allow you to do that. That's a crime. Back in the day it wasn't. They didn't say shit about it. They didn't care. Now everything's a crime. Crime this, crime that. You can't do this, you can't do that. Excuse me? Since when? When is it the government entitled to tell us what the fuck to do? It's the other way around. We tell them what the fuck to do. And they listen. And if they don't listen, we can hold them for treason against the people. And that's the way it should be. And I think Mr. Trump is starting to realize that there's a lot going on, because even when he was in office before, he was fighting things. That hence why they wanted him out of office, because he knew what the corruption was like. He was seeing it firsthand. And now he's unburying even more. So, lots of people don't realize what is really going on in the Trump administration and why he has hired so many key opponents for his cabinet. There's a reason behind it. And when that reason actually comes to light and you guys start seeing what's really going to happen, you're going to want to back Trump even more. I didn't back him when he first took office, because I didn't know what the Trump administration had. I didn't even vote that year. I did go to the rally, the Trump rally in Guilford, Maine, and I got to see Mr. Trump. I was there, and he did a lot as far as helping this place that makes medical, the tongue depressors and everything else. It's called Hardwood Products. It's out of Guilford, Maine. It's a small town. It's a mill town, where they make medical supplies. And he was there, and he generously helped them with the funding that they needed to get off the ground. So that was big for a small town. But he has been trying to fight CPS throughout his whole campaigns. Even 4 years ago, he was trying to fight. He was trying to push back CPS, and they stopped him from doing it. That's how much power these people have. They overwhelm the system. And Maine is starting to realize that having bail conditions where you violate bail, you go back to jail, has caused so much backlog within the system, it's not even funny. So now they're trying to push that back because they're in violation by doing so. These people are not being heard. They're not getting their cases in court in a proper time frame. They're sitting in jail for months at a fucking time with no representation of an attorney, because they keep throwing us back in jail no matter if we, step out of line or we go to work and it supposedly states that we have to adhere to our bail conditions. Well, my bail conditions were set forth by my judge, but they was not set forth the proper way with the Cumberland County Jail. And I went back and I read my bail sheet from that, and it did not state that I could work. Hence why they arrested me, because they didn't put on there what the judge had said in the courtroom. They totally blanked it out. Totally. Left it undone, which is corruption in the jail system and corruption in the bail commissioner herself. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. So now I can go after the bail commissioner for violation. Ha ha, bitch, I got you. I'm calling you out. Miss Bail Commissioner, you're a piece of shit. So with that, you guys, I just wanted to do a quick show today. I know we were a little bit late. I apologize for that. I told Darren that I was probably going to do like a 40-minute show today or so. But I wanted to get some valuable information out to you guys, to start looking into what you want to say for the 14th. So please keep that in mind. Let us know. Email us, cpsvhuntingjustice@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me. I am now the new kind of manager of everyone and helping Darren a lot more in the background, so he doesn't have to do as much. So keep that in mind. If you guys want my email, let me know. I'll be happy to give that out. But please reach out to us and let us know what you want Mr. Trump to hear on the 14th. We'll let you guys know what we're going to be asking, what our rules are going to be for that day. We're still working on that. I know we're still working on a title, I think, too. We're not so sure on the title yet. So I think we're still all working on that. But keep that in mind, guys. And I am out of here. I hope you all have a good afternoon. We will see you back here later. Hopefully, Kim is supposed to be on from 8 to 9 to do Turn the Page. And then we have CPS Hunting Justice at 10 o'clock. Well, 10:15 rather. We now start that at 10:15 p.m. So make sure you guys are looking out for those two shows. I don't know if Danielle's doing a show today or not. That's totally up to her. She's an admin, so that's on her when she does her shows. But I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Stay safe. If you're in Maine and driving on the roads, be very careful. It is dangerous out there. Snow is coming down hard. So be careful, guys. Stay safe. Have a great afternoon. I am out of here. Once I can get my video up.
Vinny on the mic, life in the vice, CPS tight, fighting through the nights, through the pain and the plight. Lost in the system, kids taken away, but he ain't giving up, fighting day by day. Courtroom's cold, but his heart fire bold. Every document, evidence, stories untold. Digging deep, unearthing all the mess. Knows he's getting closer, there's no time to rest. CPS won't break this man, fighting each day, got a bigger plan. Reclaiming his kids, dreams in his hand, battling for others strong like a brick wall stand. Every setback a setup for a comeback. Vinny stacking facts, ready for the attack. Discovering truths buried deep in the lies. Eyes on the prize, freedom in his eyes. Community's voice rising up, getting loud. Vinny leading the charge, making his folks proud. Taking down giants, carrying the fight. The light at the end now blindingly bright. For his kids, for his life, for the broken and lost. Vinny's resilient, no matter the cost. Breaking free from chains, reclaiming his dream. CPS trembling when Vinny hit the scene.